Welcome to the Exit Ready Business Podcast. This show is where we bring the gap between running a company and actually being able to sell it. Did you know that last year only 14% of businesses listed for sale actually reached the finish line? Compare that to commercial properties where auction clearance rates consistently hit 60 to 80%. Here is the hard truth. As it stands today, your business might be unsellable, but your office, your warehouse, and your commercial footprint, that's a goldmine. I'm David Fisher, known as Mr. Exit Ready. I'm bringing 46 years of experience in business, construction, and property to help you turn your biggest asset into your greatest exit. Today, we're applying the principles of business growth, exit planning, and buyer education to ensure your business lands in that elite 14%. Joining me today is Brett McFall, a marketing expert who thinks so far outside the box, he's practically invented it. Known for his pink sheet philosophy and high converting hot ads, Brett has been in the trenches since 1989. He isn't just talking theory, he's actually lived it. From the early days of direct response to the cutting edge of Facebook ads, chatterbox, and the AI advantage. Brett knows exactly how to use tools like the video reports to drive business growth and value. A huge welcome and a huge privilege to welcome you to our show. Let us go back 39 years. How did these journey begin? And what were those first critical lessons that shaped how you see business today?
Very honoured to be here, David. If your listeners, if your viewers have a business that they would love to be able to sell the way that you can help them, what I know for sure is that business would be much more saleable if it knew how to market itself with artificial intelligence. And often it's like, I get it. I sometimes use ChatGPT. I like AI. I'm a bit scared by it as well. You get so busy in the day-to-day that it's not a priority. I'm here talking with you to wave the red flag and say, hello, there's an issue coming. A really big issue, and it's now something which you cannot ignore. This is not something you can put off much longer. In your business, AI better be part of the equation, and if you listen to me, particularly the marketing equation, that front-facing, that experience that a prospect has with you from the very first moment they arrive at your business. And the great news is it's not overly technical. A lot of people think it is, so they avoid it. But it's really not. Even better, it's almost like the captain of a ship needs to know how the whole ship operates, but he's not down in the basement with the engineers fixing the engine. He's not in the kitchen, helping chop up the carrots. And so I would put it to you that AI, in terms of business growth and business exit, is a critical element, just like any department on a ship is. But you, as the owner of the business, the captain of the ship, you need to know about it, you need to make sure it's functioning, but of course you don't need to do it. AI actually runs itself.
So that's an interesting concept. So when you say the captain of the ship, a lot of people are very controlling of their ships, aren't they? And they won't let someone else come in. So what a lot of people say to me is that AI is going to take your business. But is it really AI, or is it your competitor that's going to use AI and they'll just take your customers?
Yeah, the question of is AI going to take my business? A very hard one to answer, but the one we can answer is that another company who knows how to use artificial intelligence in a better way than you do, they're very much going to take your business because they can. It'll be possible. Now, how? Why? All right. What it means is that, I'll give you an example. If somebody phones your company or emails the company, or maybe you've even got a messaging system where they can contact you via social media. And when they contact you, if it's after hours, if it's when you're busy, if there's another 20 people who've already called before them, if it's on holidays, if it's the weekend, what happens to them? And the concept that you want to think about is not AI. Nobody really wants AI, but what your customers want is they don't want to wait. And I would put it to you that waiting is the new economy of businesses. The response time is going to be critical moving forward. So customers won't ask, hey, do you have a chat bot anymore? They'll be asking, how fast do you respond? So the moment a customer has to wait, and when I say customer, I mean prospect as well, so whether they're brand new to the company or they're existing, if they have to wait, then the system has let them down. And with my experience, David, most businesses have a team, right? They've got staff to take care of their prospects, their customers. But when that system falls down, there's never a backup system. And what do I mean by never? Well, okay, you might say, well, Brett, if our receptionist cannot answer the phone, then we have voicemail. Or we have a phone tree where it goes through to, pick 1 if you want to talk to sales, or pick 2 if you want to talk to support, etc. Right? And so, but then again, the customer has to wait because it goes through to that department and they don't happen to be there at a certain time and they have to wait. So I would put it to you that waiting is the real issue. That's on the business side. And then on the marketing side, what AI can do is that when someone visits a website of yours, they can get answers immediately. No waiting. So that's how you need to start thinking about it, because your competitors will be. And if you avoid this, if you put it off, then your business is going to date. It's going to age much faster than you can imagine, because we're in this huge shift right now, a huge technological shift. So it's everything sped up. For a good 15, 20 years, we're aware of the internet, then social media comes along, but you can be a slow adopter. Now it's moving so fast. It's putting some business owners off so they don't bury their head in the sand. But second is they're getting left behind super quickly, much more than they would have in the past. So it's not something to think, oh, maybe we will. It's like, no, when are we going to adopt this? When are we going to find out about it? For marketing, yes, and then also for customer response.
Yeah, so I like what you're saying there. Like, we are all impatient, aren't we? So when we come to the concept of waiting, even going...
Right, we hate to wait. Yeah.
What's that? Yeah. So when you go, even going back to you go to a store, right? And you see this queue and you go, oh, I'm not going to stand in that queue. And it's the same principle, isn't it? So you don't wait in that queue. So if it's an online thing, so obviously I love using Amazon, I don't have to wait in any queue and I can scroll through all the different parts and it'll give me answers to different options and all the rest of it. So for a lot of our listeners, it's the same thing. If they really ask themselves, do they want to wait in a queue? So you could go to a theme park, do you want to wait in a queue? You don't, no one wants to wait in a queue, do they?
No.
And then people put their hands up in the next part and then they go and say, I'd like to ask a question. They go, hey, wait a minute, I'll get to you. But same thing, all of this comes back to that where you can turn up, you don't have to wait, you can ask a whole lot of bots and other different things, and now there's a lot of deeper AIs, and we can go deeper onto that in a minute, which will give you answers. So whether it's a little chat bot to start off with, or it's actually a person, and they can answer all of those questions and go. So they haven't left your store. Going back to the physical store, you've left the queue, you've gone somewhere else. How can our business owners utilize, so from those early days of what you did, where you started out in the trenches there, just a little reflection of just the speed of how things have moved. How can you just show them, like, you could do something 20 odd years ago and boom, today it's done in what's at a time? What's our comparison?
So activities that we would do in old business versus new business, yes? I think it's around us everywhere. I think it's around us. And even your viewer here, your listener, will know. So for example, there is now no excuse for you not to have an answer. So for example, if you, when search engines came along, we thought, oh my goodness, we no longer need Encyclopedia Britannica because the internet's here. We can ask questions and we can find out history, we can find out locations, and then Google Maps came along. We don't just find the locations, we can go and explore them. We can use the satellite navigation in our car to get us from A to B. We've never been on that road before, but we drive it like we're a professional. And so all these little bits of technology have been brilliant and we use them every day. But now there's no reason why you cannot know an answer for a customer. This is the first thing. Because you can go to ChatGPT or one of the many AI platforms and you will get an answer that if it's not 100% correct, it'll be at least 90% correct. It might be based around history, might be based around the future, might be based around technical. But the quality now that's available to us is mind-blowing. The problem that I see, and is it a problem? Look, I think I would call it a problem in that our customers are also doing that as well. So there's what you might be doing as a business owner and your customers are doing it too. So what's the problem? It's breeding a habit of immediacy. meaning that we can have anything in a split second. If I can't think of a song that I used to love in the 80s, I can have that song in the next 30 seconds. I'll just simply ask ChatGPT, it'll tell me, oh, this is the song you were thinking of, boom. So that immediacy, now we get used to speed. And so if someone comes to your business and they can't get the answer that they want, then now you look like you are very old when you're just simply doing business the way you did it 2 years ago, right? And so it's those companies who can now address answers for prospects and customers quickly, easily, without any hassle, who will absolutely naturally be much easier to deal with. And so, for example, I have this new technology. So I created chatterbots.ai. And initially, Chatterbots was a type-in chat. Yes, you type in a question, an answer comes back. And it was pretty brilliant. It could give you links to book appointments. It could give you all the answers you need that were absolutely tailored to that company. Not general answers, because generally ChatGPT gives general answers. And so this was about specific answers tailored to a business. And it would come back to you and give you instant links. It would answer all your frequently asked questions, and that serves a purpose. And so it still serves a purpose. At the very minimum, you should have that at the very least, yes? New technology now is where on your site is a image of a customer sales representative of your company, and people will simply click on that with their finger or with a mouse, and it says, hey, hello, David. It's Brett here from ABC Company. How can I help you today? And this is not just the future. This is happening right now. We have the technology. I'm using it right now. And so it means that they can come and actually now talk to somebody back and forth, live on video. Now, the person is not a person, it's artificial intelligence. And so this is the new standard. So let's say we have two hardware companies, for example. One hardware company refuses to update, the other one can't wait to update, always has the latest technology. So for the customer, huge difference in experience. You know, for example, at this point, as I'm talking to you, I cannot go to Bunnings, a hardware store here in Australia. I cannot go to the Bunnings website and interact in this way yet. I can go on there and I can search for, nails or a special type of timber or a special tool, and it'll say, oh, here's what we have in stock. Well, that's not what I'm talking about at all. The future is where you simply go to the website and it says, hey, how can I help? What do you need? And you say, look, what I'm looking for is a special hammer. And it's this sort of size, and it's the hammer where it doesn't damage the timber. Do you know that one has a softer front on the hammer? And the bot says, yeah, we got that. Oh, I know that. That's called an ABC hammer. And in fact, we have 3 of them in stock. I've just checked. Would you like to pick it up today, or would you like me to send it out to you? We could have it out to you by tomorrow. And you simply say, you know what, I can pick it up today. And the video bot says, great, what's your name? What's your email? What's your phone number? Awesome. And do you want to give me a credit card? If you don't, no problem. But if you do, I can take it all and we'll have it ready to pick up for you at 3 p.m. How does that sound? You say, oh, that sounds great. All right. And so without even realizing or caring that it's a virtual receptionist, it's a bot, you've just had the service that you've always wished for, but the company has never provided. And so this is the speed I am talking about. Just one example of speed. Another example would be as soon as you pick that product up, you get SMS'd by the Bunnings team, yes? And they say, hey, it's John from Bunnings. I noticed you just picked up the hammer. Let me know if there's anything wrong with it. If we've got any issues at all, please let us know. But also is it okay if I check in a couple of days to see how the job's going? And you write back either yes or no. If you want to have a chat, you do. If you don't, you type no. If you happen to type in, yeah, okay, I look forward to checking in because I've never had this sort of service before, thank you. A couple of days, another SMS goes out. But it's not like a canned automatic response. It's a conversation AI now. And so you can text back. You might be long-winded, you might be short-winded, whatever communication style you have, it goes back and forth and matches your style, can offer solutions. So if you happen to tell it that by text you say, you know what, the hammer was good, but I don't think it's big enough. I actually think maybe I needed a bigger one. You mean the A23? Well, we got that for you as well. Do you want me to send it out to your site for you? You can stay where you are and we'll have it sent out to you. Is that we can do that? No problem at all. In fact, because you've already bought one, I can apply a discount code, and if that's okay with you, we have your credit card, we'll have it sorted today. Would that be okay? And suddenly you're in an SMS conversation with Bunnings. But here's the thing that you've got to realize is that conversation would be happening across 1,000 people at once. So every single customer that comes in, Bunnings would be able to have that SMS conversation, that video conversation with every single one of you. Could be 1,000, could be 5,000 at a time, and it remembers each time, each person that comes in. Now that's the future of Bunnings. Now let's go back to the other hardware store, your hardware store, for example, where that doesn't exist. You've done nothing wrong. You've literally done nothing wrong. You offer the products. You give great customer service. You're there from 7 a.m. till 6 p.m., so long hours. You'll call them back if they leave a message. But can you see how from the customer side that no longer is appealing and it's no longer acceptable as the norm? If you get what I am showing you there, this is what the question you have to ask about your business, because this is what's coming.
Let's go back to the Bunnings store and those two comparisons. So that means that everyone would go to that service that you wish for, which can be multiplied by thousands or millions of people, correct?
Yeah.
And then the store that does nothing, that the people wait in the queue because they used to not even, they've just jumped online, they don't even have to go to the store anymore. So then they're saving a whole lot of time. They don't have to get in their car, they don't have to drive their and all of that sort of process as well, isn't it? So literally you can have this huge, and because we all work on this huge asset sitting there and no one's coming to it.
And you've done nothing wrong.
Same thing, you've still got all those hammers on the shelf, you've still got everything there, you've got the whole lot, but no one's turning up to your store because everyone's going to the store that now it's a service that they wish for. If you can explain, like, obviously I believe most people understand the basic chatbot where they've just put in some details. Your video bot, can you go a little bit deeper on that? Because I think that one there, is a lot of people from the big companies think it's only going to be something for the big companies and the little guys can't sort of afford that and they don't know how to implement it and they have to go to all of these specialists to do that. If you can explain a little bit about that video bot and how that works and how we can implement that into the everyday small business.
So there's implementation, David, and then there's doing it the right way, yes? Because there are so many ways you can grab tools for free online these days. There are programmers who can do it for you. Because we're in the early stages, it's almost like the Wild West. This is what I want business owners to be very careful of. It's that the tool is actually not the solution. The tool's only as good as the person using it. And so when you have a marketing brain like mine would tend to think differently than your business brain in whatever niche you are in, watching or listening to this, then your brain would work differently to mine. You have knowledge, skills, experience in your field. I have knowledge, skills, and experience in my field, so I'm going to approach it differently. So first thing, it's not a matter of just saying, can I have an audio bot? Can I have a video bot? Because you'll do nothing with it. It won't give the experience that the prospect really wants. Bring you back to the original issue of waiting. This is really the problem. The technology can solve it in various ways. It can just be a text bot, a voice bot, a video bot. So they can all do it. But the killer is that if you don't realize the bigger issue in that you are missing opportunities. If you are missing opportunities from, let's say, customer service, which was good, but now doesn't stack up and people want to be able to call you at any time of the day. So, customers don't arrive on schedule. They arrive when you're not available, right? Not all the time, but oftentimes, yes? So when you're not available, when your team's not available, your company's not available, when it's 2 a.m. in the morning, but the customer's awake, this is the new frontier now because this is the issue. AI can solve all of it, but it's going to be useless to you if you don't buy into the concept of, response time is the new currency. Response time is the new currency of businesses. This is the first concept. So customers don't wait, they don't complain, they don't explain, they just move on. It becomes a silent killer. So you don't even know it's happening. You think, Brett, well, I actually think everything's going okay. Sure, sales are down a little bit. We get that. But no, that happens in business. I would say no, you are dying because you don't even know you're dying because as you'll gradually decrease in sales, you think, well, it'll turn back up. Okay, will it? So the question then becomes, well, what are we doing with if we look at it from a customer's point of view, how do we handle customers when they arrive out of hours? For just one example, out of hours. So how much money are you losing as a business from customers who call you out of hours? On weekends when perhaps you don't answer or on evenings at 11 p.m. How much money are you losing from customers who don't get what they need? That's the first equation to think about. So we've got nothing to do with artificial intelligence. It's the concept here. The real problem of our prospects is they don't like to wait. So your goal then is going to be to make it easier down the track, but that's the first problem, right? If you could have something which handles the customer on the spot, how much could that make you? It's got to be the second question. Firstly, what's it costing you to miss customers? Now, what would it make you to get customers? Yes, customers that right now you're missing out on. And so that should give you some mathematics. Whoever's watching this, if you're doing some maths on a piece of paper, you should have some mathematics in front of you where it should be very appealing. Yes. So if that appeals to you, then it makes sense to think, well, how can I get AI to handle that? Then AI becomes valuable. Does that make sense? AI becomes valuable only once you realize the missed calls, the unanswered messages, the confusion that your prospect has which you haven't helped with, the social media posts where they comment on your social media and no one responds to them instantly. Yes, so they won't respond to them in 5 hours, but the whole emotion's gone. So that's a whole other field. Social media. What about when they respond to your posts and you're not responding instantly? What about when they reply to the broadcast you sent via email and you don't reply instantly and the moment's gone? Modern businesses now demand that, right? Modern customers demand that. Depending on your niche, right? So this is where it needs to go. And in terms of now you ask me about video AI, voice AI, text AI, all brilliant, all can handle what I just said. But video is simply now about the relationship. I would encourage your viewer to search it. You might want to go to my company. We've already handled it. We already know what we're doing. You might want to go to David here, who's already involved. But go to someone who actually thinks first about the AI. So to me, AI is always second, but the problem is first. As soon as you put AI first, like all the programmers do, then it's off track because they're just programming for possible issues. No, what's the problem? The problem is you are missing customers who now very clearly don't want to wait. When what we can do with AI, we can start a conversation instantly and move them along the journey, the customer journey, to your business, to a sale, to an appointment, whatever it is you need. Failing that, the technical side of what you asked me was, where can maybe someone start with a video AI? So there are tools like HeyGen.com, HeyGen.com is a place to start. But always remember it's a tool. If the moat around your business, like if you imagine a castle and there's a moat around it, the moat is the understanding of how to use it. So we can have a tool in your business. How do we make that connect so the customer never has to wait? And that usually involves not just the video, there has to be a backup system of workflows and automation. When someone says this, the bot's got to say that. That really is now the engine of how it makes it work. So always find someone who understands the problem, but then understands how to solve the problem with the AI. Does that make sense?
Oh, totally. If we go back to the problem side, missing customers or the huge costs that's to acquire a customer, let alone the ones that are all just now running out the door because they've got the service they've wished for. The other part that's quite interesting when you're talking about, it's not about the tool unless you know how to use it. What I've found is that if you're with a group, which obviously I am, you need to understand how it works as you implement something, because then you still need to maintain it, don't you?
Yeah.
So even if you go back, everyone can't just throw their hands in the air and say, right, I've got someone else doing this. That won't be a good outcome. All of this is, as we were saying before, the conversation comes out of the marketing team, the owner, all of these different people, personalised, doesn't it? So if you've just thrown it out as a generic type thing, then you're just going to land up with everyone else. You're going to have the tools, but you don't have a personalised service. It's like myself, like I've been 46 years, imagine just plugging in anything into all of that experience. It would just drift away and I'd just land up like everyone else in the industry. Instead of doing the trenches, going through all of that process, and then virtually sucking everything out of my head, and then putting my personality, my understanding and everything into it. That would be a fair comment for our listeners, that you need to join a group of people that are like-minded, but you need to go on this journey, as we've been talking about. It's all very new and it's evolving. So the people that are evolving it are the ones that you want to join. Then they are the groups that you want to come along, and they're going to teach you and implement all of these processes. What worked in 1989 doesn't work in 2026. All of these tools, like you say, you can put them all out there, buy them all, it might cost you whatever, $10,000 to say. Use them, because you don't know how to use them. I think for our listeners that the biggest takeaway here for a lot of this is that if you're going to join something, you can, like you say, we can join the Hey Gym, but then what do you do with it?
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
And so that's a tool. You can go to ChatGPT or Gemini, whatever your taste is, and it'll help you. But if you don't put the inputs and if you aren't with the right groups to understand what the message out to the market, how to put those into your website, everyone's focused on a website, but actually it's a funnel that goes through the process really, because someone looks at a website, it's like walking into a house and here's the front door. Direct them into the room that they want to go to. They want to go to the kitchen. That's a funnel. You go straight into the kitchen and you stay in the kitchen. These tools just help you along that sort of journey, doesn't it? You can explain to people what sort of groups can they join. And I know you've got groups. Just like I say, it is the Wild West out there at the moment, and this is very critical that you join the right type of groups.
The way I would look at this is that you would look at, what groups can I join so you can be around like-minded people. The way I look at it is that the fastest way to succeed that I've found in my, adult life is to find somebody who's already got the results I want and get them to tell you how they did it. Much faster, much easier. And this is the concept that I have always lived. Who's actually got the results? I just need to copy what they're doing and ask questions of them. Much faster, yes. So if you are going to go and start looking at getting to AI tools, then you actually run the risk of doing worse than nothing. I'll explain. If you do nothing with AI and keep business as it is, it'll be worse for you very, very quickly. But if you go and grab some AI tools and put it on your website, it could be worse than that. What's going to happen is you're going to piss people off. For example, if you just happen to put a chat bot on your website, someone could come along and they can type in a question. You see them down the bottom right-hand corner of some websites. Well, when I do seminars, I do ask questions of the audience. Invariably, when I say, please raise your hand if you've ever used a chat bot on a website and been really, really underwhelmed or really, really frustrated by it, boom, all their hands go up. So this is the example of just using a tool, because now it was there, it's interesting, it makes you look like you're fashion forward, so to speak. People go to use it, they don't get the answer they want, you've just pissed them off. So this is, a little bit of a tripwire I think we've got to be really careful of for most business owners. If AI is not your thing, it's not just about putting a tool on there. So find the person who's already got the results you want, get them to show you what they do, or have them do it all for you, would be the simple solution. That is what I would suggest, because technology should remove friction, not add it. Technology should remove friction, not add it. It should feel invisible. If customers are waiting, not being helped, the system failed. Assume that's the rule. If customers are waiting, the system failed, and now you have to think, well, how do I fix the system? Not just put a Band-Aid that's actually fixed the real problem. That is how they need to think. Joining groups or finding people who actually have already done it, know what they're doing, and just make it happen for you is the fastest, best way to win in any area. I would put it, not just artificial intelligence, and not just for your business.
No, exactly. And it goes back to the concept, why invent the wheel? That's where the principle of the proven model. There's proven real estate models, there's proven marketing models, this isn't evolving, it's the same principle of that model. When you say about technology should be invincible, I really like that one. So when you, that's because it's seamless, isn't it? And like I use Apple for everything, and it's frictionless in the process. Like the watch can open up the Mac and all of these different things. You become a raving fan because it literally is invisible in the concept, and it just flows through it. And then you become a raving fan because there's no friction, isn't it? So you jump on the chatterbot, you jump on these different things. All you want to do is like the concept of, you don't buy a drill bit for the drill bit. You want to put a screw in the wall to stick a picture on it. So actually we have to think like that instead of thinking tool orientated, isn't it?
One of the ways that I help customers solve it, and you've done it as well, where there's a huge trust drought right now for various reasons. We don't trust politicians the way we used to. We don't trust advertising. We don't trust companies the way we used to. we're much more fully informed now, and that breeds distrust. Unfortunately, it breeds other things too, but trust, a lack of trust is one thing it does breed, because all the companies, the politicians, the concepts that do all the wrong things obviously take the headlines. It reduces trust that we, in various things. The business owners here who might be listening to you and myself here today, they need to assume that they're not being trusted. So if they go, visitors come to the website and it says we've been voted the best in Sydney, for example, you have to assume the customer doesn't believe it. You have to assume that if you put up testimonials on your website and it just has the first name and only an initial for their surname, you have to assume the person doesn't believe it. Anything you say about how good your company is, you have to assume they don't believe it. There's a trust drought, a massive trust drought. We're getting into the problems now, right? One of the big key problems was waiting. Customers don't like waiting. Well, customers don't like being bullshitted to either, right? And without you even realizing it, they think they're being bullshitted to. Low trust. One of the concepts that every business owner should have is a way to build trust at speed. At speed. Not just hope that the customer likes them. Not just hope that the customer subscribes to their Instagram feed and watches all their video and then comes back in a month and says, okay, I think I like these guys, right? Don't allow that to go to chance. The concept is nailing the problem that is already in your customer's mind. So, for example, I helped a business owner just this week, an electrician, and he has now a free report that he offers to his prospects. So before he offers his services, he offers a report, and the report is how electricians are planning to rip you off this year. That's the headline. And so if somebody opts in to watch this special video report, then they're worried about electricians ripping them off. And the real fear behind that is electricians are coming along and then they don't give a fixed price, they do a lot more work, and then it costs the owner and they hate it. Builders hate it, customers hate it. That's the underlying fear. Immediately, that business stands out as addressing the fear or the problem in the prospect's mind. And the way that we do it is that people go to a website, they get to choose to opt in for a report and get instant access. They don't have to wait for a webinar, they get instant access. And they get to watch this video report of the business owner saying, here is how electricians are planning to rip you off this year. They're doing this, they're doing that. And now what does that do? If someone's calling out someone in their own industry, what does that do for the actual business owner who's being listened to? What happens is in that moment, now the prospect goes to trusting the business owner rather than the electricians that are out there, because that business owner is calling them out, calling all the industry out. So he sounds and feels like someone who actually is doing something right. Strategies like this builds trust at speed. So then our AI can kick in, right? Our artificial intelligence can kick in with answering questions while they're watching the video report. It can answer questions by following up with SMS, with emails. Now AI has a place. Does that make sense? AI has a place because we tackled the problem first and then the tool helped us fix it, rather than everyone going to the tools and thinking, I've got to have a bot, I've got to have video. Like, you're putting the cart before the horse.
Yeah, so back on the special video report, I love it because obviously from a building background, it's a very under-resourced industry at the moment. The call-outs, people are absolutely virtually fearful of buying a rundown property to get it done up. All the stories and all the different things. But here's an opportunity for our listeners. Say, for example, you are a builder. You could do a special video report. You could call out the industry. These are the things that you need to look for before you even buy the property. Have a look at this. Have a look at that. So, for example, like if you're looking at a house on the old weatherboard ones, you could look at the piles, you know what I mean? Are they looking scrappy at the bottom? Are the ant caps removed so then you might have termites in the house? All of these different things could all be listed on that video report where people could just watch it. And then they go, I need someone to go and fix that house that I buy. Here's the expert in the field. He's called it out. They could jump on now. They can use AI and answer some basic questions, because before they bought the place, they could say, oh, you could do this and this and this. Oh, no, we're going to go deeper here. We could really provide that detail, that per, say, stump, it's going to cost you, say, $1,000 or whatever. So they're already getting a basic idea of it. But if you want to have more information, please contact me and I can give you a detailed audit. Before they walked in there, they had no idea about buying this house. A special video report, they now become a very informed buyer. So trust starts, doesn't it?
Well, if you look at
the first builder that's called the industry out.
If you look at the concept here, it's much like the TV shows 60 Minutes or A Current Affair or similar shows where they have exposed the industry, right? So this is just one strategy, by the way, but now you are actually taking it in-house and you're the one exposing the 3 big mistakes most people make when it comes to ABC. So it's a concept which is proven, absolutely proven.
So really, when you go and look at all of that concept, this is applicable to every business, isn't it? Whether you're selling, I don't know, beds or something like that, or whatever it may be, just throwing things out there. These video reports, it's the same thing. Do you have time, Brett, to go and work through what sort of bed I should buy? Someone can give you this video report, it might be 5 minutes or something like that, and it gives me an idea. Then before you start, you go, right, I'm trusted in this person. This person's got a store, and explain all the ins and outs of what others are providing, the different ins and outs.
And if you think of the psychology here, it all comes from thinking about the customer first and the problem first. We don't throw technology at it.
Yeah.
We find, what's the problem? What's already going on in the customer's mind? A, they hate waiting. B, there's low trust. All right, now we address those. And this is what so few businesses will do. So therefore, if you do it, you are leaving your competition behind and they don't even realize. So that's where it gets quite exciting, but it takes you to think differently about the problem.
Absolutely. So we've covered a lot today. I just got to ask, like, if there was, say, 3 or 4 nuggets that we could share with our audience. Most people are on this journey. Where would they start? What would be, say, 3 or 4 steps? What would be their best starting point?
First starting point would be this. Understand that you're going to be left behind. Through no fault of your own, you're going to be left behind because of artificial intelligence. That's the first rule to understand. Firstly, realize there's a problem, yes? You're going to be left behind. The second one is, well then, how do we solve it? That's when AI tools can come to the fore and they can be brilliant. Now, why do I say brilliant? Because couldn't you just hire staff to solve all the problems? Yes, you can. But humans weren't designed to work 24 hours a day. Humans weren't designed to take on more and more pressure, more and more load. They are not designed for this. So if you employ a person from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., he or she's a different person at 8 p.m. than they were at 8 a.m. because the body doesn't handle that sort of duration of problem handling the whole day. We're not designed for that. Yeah? Then if it's not going to be humans, then that's where artificial intelligence now can come in. Be aware of that. Have the mentality of searching for it to begin with, that there is a solution out there. Next, I come back to that principle of the fastest way to succeed in anything. So name the topic, name the subject, name the skill. The fastest way to succeed in anything is to find somebody who's already solved the problem and get them to show you how they've done it, or get them to do it for you. That has to be the guiding light in terms of the solution to the problem. If you want a takeaway nugget, that there will change your business overnight, because then it allows you to think outside yourself. Instead of you trying to solve it, you don't have to solve it. You don't have to solve it. Somebody already has. Now, the last strategy I would give, the last takeaway tip is that how fast can you make it happen? You're in a race. Yes, you're in a race, and AI is a Tesla, and a Tesla can go from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 3.6 seconds. Right, so you're in a race against a Tesla. Now, if you happen to be driving another car, some people think that maybe a Ferrari is a good competitor for a Tesla. It's not. Tesla beats it in speed tests all the time. So let's assume you're not a Ferrari then. Let's assume you're driving a really good car, maybe even a great car. Yeah? You can drive that car as fast as you possibly can. You can put your foot to the pedal and push it down as fast as you possibly can, and it's not going to beat the speed of an electric vehicle. This is the maths right now. Electric vehicles get up to speed faster than petrol vehicles. So it's not your fault. The car you have is fabulous. It's a great car, but it has limitations. And so understanding that you need to find a better vehicle as fast as you possibly can, because AI is the Tesla. Get on board with that trend. The less stress you'll have, better customer service, happier customers. If you get where this is all going, you're going to have higher sales, because you can address customers' concerns when they have them. Your marketing it answers the questions already going on in their mind. When they turn up there at a time they want to turn up, they get helped. There's no waiting. That's going to pick up sales that right now you're losing. Speed is of the essence. Move, and move fast.
Wow. So that's a big warning, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and it's not me, by the way. It's not me warning you. I'm making you aware that customers don't wait. I'm making you aware that there's a trust drought. All right, I'm making you aware. So I'm like the canary in the coal mine. That's what I'm doing here. I am making you aware of. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm saying here is how it is. If it scares you, it might just make you take some action on it.
Yeah, and that's well said. It has to scare all of us, basically. For all of us to take action. We know that the train has left the station, and if we don't jump on board like now, it's when lots of people were talking 6 months ago, it'll be in 1 or 2 years. All of this stuff's now. Literally, what do they say? 48% of jobs can be replaced today. I mean, today. Not tomorrow, but today. Tomorrow there might be 50%. The week later it might be 60%. Well, we don't know. But all we know is that the train has left the station, and we need to jump on board.
Yes.
So that brings us to the end of this episode. A massive thank you to Brett for sharing 4 decades of marketing wisdom, really squeezed into, not the 4 decades, we just touched on that. We're just talking about really the last, or to say 2 years, where it's moved the needle from one point to the other. He basically goes through, just think of the pink sheep in the crowd. Be that pink sheep. And when I say pink sheep, it just stand out from the crowd. As we talked about the trust drought, think of you being the trusted pink sheep. Think of you jumping on board that you haven't missed the train. That is your pink sheep concept, that you're standing out, you've jumped on the train, you're moving forward, you've joined, you've taken your problems, understand those, you've jumped onto a system. Don't go with something that's not proven. So if you found this valuable conversation, please subscribe and leave us a great review. It helps reach more business owners who really need to listen to this podcast. There is so much gold nuggets in this. Don't hesitating about it. That's all we can say on that. If you're ready to stop guessing and start planning, this show is powered by our partners in the exit journey. Business Exit and Beyond, your strategic planning partners, along with our network of experts. We handle the implementation to ensure it doesn't just leave your business, your exit with an impact. Business Exit Exchange, the premier real estate platform for connecting ready buyers with exit-ready businesses. If you don't want to tap into those 80% clearance rates we talked about, BEX is where it all happens. A big thank you to our strategic business partners, our listeners for tuning in. I'm David Fisher. Remember, a business that's ready to sell is a better business to own. We'll see you on the next episode of the Exit Ready Business Podcast.